Just for the record, this is going to be the shortest speech of the night.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Okay, this one's a little bit different. This one is Who is Dan Morgan? In a short little 5-part series, this one talking about college. This one, instead of being one video, is going to be a 3-part video into one. Got some short ones here, including his Hall of Fame induction speech. So let's jump right over to it.
Dan Morgan came to Miami from Taravella High School in Coral Springs, and following in the footsteps of fellow Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis, upheld the Hurricanes' tradition of producing outstanding defensive talent. In his first year, Morgan became the first true freshman to start for the Hurricanes since Ray Lewis did it in 1993.
Dang, I didn't actually know that. That's really, really interesting.
That season, he recorded 105 tackles and was named a second-team freshman All-American by the Sporting News.
What an accomplishment. Wow. Shout out Dan Morgan.
If you look up linebacker in the dictionary, you see a picture of a guy like Dan Morgan fighting off the block by the fullback McCray and in to make the tackle.
Morgan dominated the game from the linebacker position, a first-team All-American.
Dude, 22 just jumped up out of nowhere. I'm sorry. I normally don't go back in these videos. Look at that man.
Backer position.
He is fully jumped at his head, and luckily, he got saved. Oh my God.
A first-team All-American and one of the hardest hitters in Hurricanes football history, he finished his
That says a lot. That says a real damn lot, considering Ray Lewis went to Miami.
Career by sweeping all of the top national awards in 2000, winning the Butkus Award as the nation's top linebacker, and the Nagurski Trophy and the Bednarik Award as the nation's top defensive player. Morgan finished his career as Miami's all-time leading tackler with 532. 3 times he was a first-team Big East selection and was the conference's Defensive Player of the Year in his senior season.
Good God, Dan Morgan. What did you not do in college?
Dan Morgan leads by example. He's not a real vocal guy, but he plays hard. Last week he set the record for Big East tackles, and he has added to that number today, 11 tackles.
Morgan was picked by the Carolina Panthers with the
Whoop, whoop, go Panthers.
11th overall selection in the 2001 NFL Draft. He was a key part of the Panthers' defense as the team earned a berth in Super Bowl 33, where he posted 18 tackles against the New England Patriots. Morgan played 7 seasons for the Panthers and was named the NFC's starting linebacker for the 2004 Pro Bowl. He retired from the NFL in 2009. Tonight, let's welcome Dan Morgan into the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame.
Again, this obviously is coming from a 2011 inductee, so this video is a little old. So we're going to jump over to the next one. I got another short one, and then we're going to get to his acceptance speech right after this. Okay, this is that second part of the video. This one's an even shorter one, only 51 seconds. Then we're going to jump over to Lessons from a Legend, and then that the induction into the Hall of Fame right here. 532 Big East record. That's bananas.
What I take from my whole experience is the relationships I developed and like we developed as a team. Just taking away like a lot of friendships. You know, still talking to guys nowadays, and you know, you're working your butts off and you're trying to accomplish a goal together.
Your defensive leader, Morgan, middle linebacker. How important is he to have a big game tonight?
And it was Morgan pouring in.
Boy, does that guy have some closing speed? Morgan says, I'm coming, and watch him close. That's a big-time play.
I don't have to tell you about their middle linebacker. Number 44 is simply the defensive player of the year in college football. Dan Morgan captured every honor imaginable.
And now he is GM of the Carolina Panthers. So let's go learn something on Lessons from a Legend before we get to that Hall of Fame speech. The third part of this, we're just about to get to his Hall of Fame induction speech. This one is him actually getting inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
This is Dan Morgan from the class of 2021. You're watching Lessons from Legends. My dad, obviously, he played football when I was younger, so I got to watch him play football a little bit. He played at like a semi-pro level, so football was really just always a part of my life and something that I was always attracted to and loved doing. I've always been a Miami Hurricane fan ever since I've been a little kid. We used to take one vacation a year from Philadelphia down to South Florida. My parents bought me a Miami Hurricane jersey, and then ever since then I was a U fan, and you know, obviously was fortunate enough to get a scholarship and go play there and live out my dream. You know, nothing's going to come easy. You know, social media, you know, just because you're posting videos out there, that doesn't mean anything. You got to put the work in. If you don't put the work in and you're not willing to sacrifice and, you know, put the extra work in and do those extra things, you know, you're not going to make it far. So I would just say you got to work your butt off for what you want if you want to go get it.
I couldn't agree. And now we finally got here. It's time to jump over Dan Morgan's acceptance speech right here on Roll Coverage. Here we go. This is Dan Morgan getting accepted to the University of Miami's Hall of Fame.
Just for the record, this is going to be the shortest speech of the night, not up there. Not that one. First and foremost, I'd like to say congratulations to the other inductees. You know, it's a big honor, and it's a pleasure to be in this class with you guys. You know, through this journey, it's been great. A lot of teammates that I developed relationships with, and you know, people ask me all the time, you know, is this University of Miami football fraternity, is it for real, or is it just something that, you know, they say on TV? And you know, I can sit here and say today that, you know, it's real. I mean, you look at guys like Santana and Reggie. I couldn't pick two better guys to be in this class with. We came in together in 1997, and you know, we're still friends to this day. You know,
Hey, that's a shout out to. There's a lot of people, and me included, that, you know, you lose touch with friends. The fact that he played college with him, maintained that relationship, most likely has maintained that relationship now. Obviously not in the early 90s or mid 2000s. It is now 2024. So that says a lot, especially, you know, as he's going to continue to progress in his career post this, joining the Seahawks, joining the Bills, joining the Panthers.
I haven't seen Reggie and Santana in a little bit, but it feels like we just left in 2000, and, you know, we're just picking up, you know, where we left off. So, you know, and by the way, it's a pleasure to be in with you guys, and obviously the rest of you guys too. You know, obviously the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame, I'd like to thank you for nominating me and inducted me into the Hall of Fame. It's an honor to be inducted with the great players. You go down the list from the Warren Sapps to the Ray Lewises and the rest of the, you know, great Miami players, the Ted Hendricks, and, you know, I'm leaving so many guys out, but it's just such an honor. I'd like to thank my parents for what they've done throughout my career and helping me and giving me gas money to drive down to Miami when I didn't have any money, and, you know, driving back home and cooking dinners for me. And I wouldn't know what Miami was if it wasn't for you guys. You used to save up your money to take me and my sister Shannon on vacations, and we used to drive down to Florida every year, and we used to stay at the Marriott down there. And I got just such great memories of that. And I remember buying a Bernard Clark jersey and a Craig Erickson jersey, and I'd go back to Philadelphia, and everybody in my neighborhood was Notre Dame fans and Penn State fans, and they all used to look at my jerseys and be like, "What are you wearing that for?" And I used to say, I love Miami, and I don't know why I loved them, but I loved them. And, you know, I used to actually get in fistfights over it because
Dang, man, you fist fighting Dan Morgan? I don't think that's a good idea.
Miami always played Notre Dame, and by the way, I hate Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame. Coach Golden, I know we're going to be playing them soon. We got to take care of them. We got to take care of them. But again, thank you, Mom and Dad, for being great parents and helping me from my childhood until obviously now, and just being great parents and helping me through everything, my trials and tribulations throughout my career. I'd also like to thank my wife and my kids for being here, Ashley, Brady, Lexi, and Callie. I love you guys more than anything, and life wouldn't be the same without you now that I have kids. It's the best thing, and hopefully one day you guys can, go to Miami, or Brady, you can wear the orange and green and play some football for the U. But I
Shout out.
love you guys. You mean more than anything to me. I'd also like to thank, I got a long list of people. Coach Mark, he recruited me coming out of Taravella High School, a white running back that was pretty fast, and I think Coach Mark, noticed some talent. I remember him coming to a Deerfield Beach game, and my dad was there, and that's the first time I felt like Miami was pretty interested in me. And Coach Mark, he called me, I think, maybe a couple days later, and they offered me a scholarship. And of all places,
Hey, man, that was a dream come true for a child at the time, Dan Morgan. I can only imagine how he felt. I could only imagine the relief, man, I wish you could get that moment back and just feel that again, because I bet it's pure bliss.
chose to commit to Georgia Tech, of all places. Georgia O'Leary was in my living room, and he kind of caught me off guard. He said, "So are you committing here, son?" And I said, yeah. I was a young kid, so I don't know why I committed, but I did. I think the next day I decommitted, and I committed to Miami. I always knew I wanted to go there, but thank God I didn't go to Georgia Tech, because I hate Georgia Tech too. Butch Davis, he played such an instrumental role in my career. Great guy, unbelievable coach, and a heck of a recruiter, and even a better person. I got a lot of love for Butch. He means a lot to me. I remember walking out onto the football field, and I was a running back, and I'm sitting in the backfield, and Edrin James is there, Najee Davenport, Daryl McMillan. I'm like, Jesus, when am I going to play? My senior year? So Butch Davis, I go out. I'm wearing a white jersey, and he switches me to an orange jersey. He says, "Son, we're going to move you to linebacker." And I think about 3 weeks later, I was starting. And
Jesus, that's crazy. He's like, "Hey, man, yeah, you go over there. You figure that out."
And I think it's the best move, obviously, I ever made, and I got to thank Butch Davis a lot for that. Vernon Hargraves, he was my linebacker coach, and Randy Shannon, he was my linebacker coach my true freshman year. I thank them a lot for teaching me a lot through my career, and I got a lot of love for those two guys, regardless of what I say in the media about Randy Shannon. I love Randy Shannon, and he's a great friend of mine. Greg Schiano, I thank him a lot.
Man, I haven't heard that name in a minute. Wow, nostalgia, huh?
For teaching me a lot. I used to wake up at 6 in the morning, go into his office, and watch film with him. He used to have me stand in front of the projector, and I used to do my footwork in front of the projector at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was dead tired, but you know what they always say, hard work pays off. So I got to thank Coach Schiano a lot for bringing me along. My former UM teammates, obviously I couldn't have done this without you. The ride was incredible. Had a lot of fun with them guys. My defense.
Man, you had a lot of time crushing folks. That's all I know.
Defensive lineman, Damian Lewis, we actually live in the same neighborhood in North Carolina. We're still close. We still have a brotherhood. And actually, John Beeson just moved into my neighborhood, too. So if any of you guys want to buy a house in my neighborhood, just let me know. Coach Golden, I just want to say best of luck to you. We're 100% behind you. We're so glad you're here to instill that fierce attitude back into Miami. And we're just real happy to have you, and we wish you the best of luck throughout your coaching career here. I left out Bill Miller. He was a defensive coordinator when I first got here. He was also a great coach, and just another guy I wanted to just another guy to the piece of the puzzle to my story, and I just want to tell him thanks also. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out, but this is just such a great honor, and thanks everybody for coming. Thank my in-laws for coming, my sister-in-law for coming. It's definitely great to have everybody here and share this moment with you. I'm just ready to have a good time after this and spend some more time with you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations.
Hey, shout out to Dan Morgan. That dude earned it. I didn't really, I wasn't a big college football guy until I got older. I was probably 12 or so. So we're talking about 2002-ish. So when he's getting ready to retire, he's already in my rearview mirror, essentially. There's a lot of players that unfortunately I missed out on just because I was a hockey guy when I was young. My grandparents loved it. But as I'm discovering more about former Carolina Panthers, especially this one on Dan Morgan in our part 1 of our 5-part series, Who is Dan Morgan, it's really opened up my eyes to, the OG times of college football. So I'm super excited to eventually do a deep dive into that, maybe bring on some college football people. But again, like I said, this is only part 1 of our multi-part series on Who is Dan Morgan. Next part, we are going to the Buffalo Bills to figure out who he became. I believe that video is recorded in 2019, so we're making a massive time jump. But I appreciate y'all rolling with us. Subscribe to the socials below if you want more content like this in the future, including Who is Dave Canales. Otherwise, my name is Nick. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.